Hi everybody, Marty Rubi, and I'm back for another segment of Marty's Corner. And we are on the set of Jersey Boys. And it's my lucky day. We have 3 guests today, all right? Samantha Tullie, we have Kate Zulauf, and Annie Rubi, who are starring in Jersey Boys. I want to give you all a chance to introduce yourselves, tell us where you grew up, what parts you're playing in Jersey Boys. Samantha, give us a start.
I'm originally from San Diego, very far, but both my parents are East Coast, so I feel like it's somewhere in my blood. And I play Mary Delgado, who's Frankie Valli's first wife.
Yes.
Among a slew of other characters, lots of different wigs in this play.
Yes. Hi, I'm Kate Zulauf. I'm originally from Connecticut, and I'm located in Astoria, Queens now. I play Lorraine, who is Frankie's girlfriend in Act 2. And like Sam and Annie, I play many other women in the lives of the Jersey Boys.
Hey, I'm Annie. I am playing Francine Valley, which is Mary and Frankie's daughter, and many others. So spot us in our different wigs.
Yeah.
I am originally from Forest Hills, Queens, and now I'm living on the island.
Very nice. That's a lot of responsibility, a lot of parts, a lot of responsibilities.
Yes.
Samantha, how do you compartmentalize when you're going, Mary Delgado is Frankie's wife,
Right.
but then when you switch to another character, how do you compartmentalize to get into the new role?
Yeah. I think while I'm in rehearsals still, it's just a lot of like, I don't know, finding like little things that differentiate them, maybe like a walk that's different, or I don't know, some sort of like little tidbit like that. Honestly, one of my favorite parts about getting into Tech Week, which is when, you add all the other elements of the show, the lights, the costumes and stuff, like wearing just different clothing, I feel like immediately like transforms me. So especially for this show, I really feel that all the different costume elements, like the second I put on whatever that character's outfit is, I already feel like, all right, different character, I'm on to the next one, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And welcome back, because you were in A Christmas Carol, the holiday show.
Yeah, very different show.
Yes, definitely so.
Family friendly to maybe a little discretion.
Yes, I think that's a good word. Now, Kate, also welcome back, because you were in Legally Blonde.
I was.
Many, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Something like that,
Wow,
yeah.
wow.
Pre-pandemic, so a lifetime ago, really.
Well,
yeah.
welcome back. Let me ask you, you have some emotional scenes with Zane, who plays Frankie Valli. How do you get ready for those kind of scenes?
Sure. It's very similar to almost meditation work in a way, because what's interesting about my characters, you don't get to see the happiness of their relationship. With Mary, you get to see when they first meet, how they fell in love with each other, how they connected and created such a strong bond. Whereas in Act 2, you're seeing his relationship with Lorraine, and you're seeing the ending of a relationship, which is very difficult. So I think to connect to that sort of world, in rehearsal, you build a strong relationship with your scene partner, so in this case, Zane. And I bring a lot of my own personal human experience to it. We've all gone through a bad breakup with someone we love and didn't want to say goodbye to, but needed to for whatever reason.
Right.
So I think it's bringing that back into this space for me.
Yes. And now, Annie, this is your first time
Yes.
at the Argyle Theater,
Yes,
so
it is.
welcome.
Thank you.
So, were you familiar with the Jersey Boys show and the story of Frankie Valli in the 4 seasons?
I've never seen the musical before. This is the first time that I'm seeing it. I was pretty young when it came out on Broadway, so maybe not so appropriate for me back then. But of course I'm familiar with all the 4 seasons and the songs. But I wasn't very familiar with their lives and Tommy DeVito and how, estranged all of their relationships ended up being. So that was really interesting to hear, but because you hear their music and it's joyful and you don't know the stories behind it. So it definitely puts it into perspective. And I think about, when did this song came out when they were fighting, or this song came out. So it's interesting to starting to put the pieces together.
Yes. Let me ask you also, we're talking about that all of you play a lot of parts. So you have to race backstage with costume changes.
Yes.
So what's that like, running backstage and changing?
I just have to say thank you to all the crew backstage.
Yes,
It
yes.
really could not happen without them. I just stand there and they help me. But it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of, kind of what Kate said, to meditation. Like, that's sort of what I do backstage. I'm like getting ready for the next thing. My eyes are closed, taking a sip of water if I need. But yeah, it's a lot of choreography that now we're definitely in the groove of don't stand there, you're gonna get hit or be in the way.
Someone's running through.
Yeah, someone's going. So it's definitely starting to feel more natural and more
Right.
comfortable.
Right.
But it's fun and exciting.
So, talking about the costume changes, when you change costume, and do you look in the mirror and say, okay, now I'm in this new character, you know?
Sure. I think during tech there was a lot of that, because when y'all come see the show, we're also going through a large span of time.
Right.
A lot of time passes during this show. And so all three of us start in a 50s styled wig.
Yeah.
And then eventually we transition to our characters or to our 60s styled wig. And during tech, in order to know what part of the show we were in, it depended on what costume I was in.
Right.
So now not so much, but definitely at first, just to, like Annie said, putting the puzzle pieces and learning the backstage choreo, a lot of it was like, okay, I have the 50s wig on, so that means I'm this or this character.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely during tech that was needed.
Yes. Samantha, you have a dual responsibility. I mean, you have to learn, all your lines, and you need to learn, all the dance numbers, but you're also the dance captain. And there's a lot of intricate steps in here. So what's your challenge to not only learn your dance steps, but to teach the routines to everybody else?
Right. I mean, I would say for this show specifically, everything is so stylized, and all of the movements are like very, very specific. So I think that was the most challenging part for me. Like, literally just being like, all right, we're doing Sherry, and in this one you start on your right foot and go to the left, but wait, and Big Girls Don't Cry, it's different, totally different. Starts on your left, so making sure that specificity was always there was probably the most challenging, but the most rewarding, because it looks amazing.
It really does.
It's so powerful,
it really
watching
does.
like people move so succinctly.
When do you ever have like an out of body experience when you're up there and you're dancing and you're hitting your marks, and the crowd is into it, like it's like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah, the end I feel
Finale,
like is
yeah.
the finale.
The
Yeah.
Yes.
We're like, it's so fun being able to like break the fourth wall. Like, some musicals like kind of it serves the piece and some don't, but for this one specifically, like that breaking of the fourth wall at the end of the show is so it's so special, and it's so fun to be able to like have the audience acknowledge us and us acknowledge them, and
Party together.
yeah,
It's
like
nice.
party all together.
It's a nice way
really
to end it.
awesome.
So, as Marty's Corner's fans, right? Fans,
Of course.
there's going to be a sports reference. All right. I know some of you are into sports. I mean, we were talking Connecticut basketball before, yes, and a little bit of the Mets. But okay, so stay with me on this, all right?
Okay.
All right. So I'm a big Met fan, all right? And last year they were in the playoffs, and in the first round they played the Milwaukee Brewers, and they each had one win. The next game is winner take all. All the marbles, Samantha. That's it. The winner of this game wins it all. All right? The Mets are losing 2-0. It's the last inning, and doesn't look good. But Francisco Lindor walks, and Brandon Nimmo gets a single. All right? And up steps Pete Alonso, and he hits a 3-run homer to propel the Mets to the next round. All right? I can't tell that story enough because I'm a Met fan. I love it. But anyway, he doesn't get to be the hero unless Lindor walked and Nimmo singled. So let's go back to the Jersey Boys, all right? It's time for Zane Zapata, who's playing Frankie
The one
Valli,
and only.
to hit a 3-run homer like Pete Alonso, all right? And the only way he can do that is to sing Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, or Begging, or Big Girls Don't Cry, is you three have to get on base before that song. And what I mean by that is you got to set the mood. You have to bring out the best, you have to set the mood. What does that feel like for you, Samantha, when you feel like, you know what, I did my best in that scene, and now he's gonna put on the best version of that song.
Yeah, well, I think it all kind of caters back to, at the beginning of rehearsals, we were kind of all discussing with our director that these three women were chosen to be in this piece for a specific reason, and like,
Right.
what is that reason, and how do they kind of like start like different facets of his career, like what is their, you know, so I feel like it's just kind of that, like when you kind of like figure out those like key moments and how they play into it, it feels like, okay, this is happening now, he can, you know,
Right.
take
Right.
that like next step into blah blah blah. But yeah,
But I mean, that's your job is so important. I mean, you have to nail what you're doing
right.
for the next thing to be perfect.
Sure.
Do you feel that way, Kate?
I do. I also think, you know, in regards to what Sam was saying, these three characters, in their own way, they never let Frankie Valli settle. They never let him be less than what we know he can be.
Right.
Francine, the character Annie plays, she makes him be the best father he can be, and
Yes.
they go through their own troubled times, but she makes him better. I make him better. Mary Delgado absolutely makes him better.
Yes.
And I think it's very interesting. There's only 3 women in this show amongst, 12 men? It shows how there's only 3 of us, but women are incredibly powerful.
Yes.
And Frankie Valli wouldn't be where he is today without the women in his life.
100%. And you mentioned Annie playing Francine, so Frankie's daughter. You bring out some things in Frankie that we don't really see in the rest of the show.
Yeah.
You know, and that's emotional stuff. You know, what was that like? You know, being his daughter.
Yeah, I think knowing that obviously this is a true story and some of the tragedies in his life are real in regards to his daughter. So just in general, just being respectful to the story, that this was a true person who suffered because of her life experiences. But knowing that you see towards the end of the show some acknowledgement from Frankie about how he was as a father, and obviously these are real feelings that he had. You know, he helped in writing this musical, and just it does make me a little emotional. I mean, it's sad, and I've spoken to Zane about it. He's been in the show a few times
Yes.
now, so he has a lot of experience. So just talking about how, you know, he feels about it
Right.
as a person, and also playing Frankie Valli has been really helpful and insightful on how I connect to the character as well.
Yeah. Well, you do a beautiful job.
Thank you.
So how old were all of you when you started in theatrical productions?
I started like singing first. That was like my introduction into the theater universe. I think I was probably like 9. I started singing lessons, and then I started doing youth theater at my Jewish community center when I was like 10 or 11, I think. Yeah.
How about you, Kate?
Similar. I started singing first as well. I was in 3rd grade, and I also went to the Plainville Youth Theater. And then I was lucky enough to live very close to the Hart School of Music, and they have a very good community theater program, and
Nice.
I did work there for about 15 years until I went to college.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was incredible. So yeah, very, very young.
The first musical I was ever in was Oliver when
Yes.
I was 5.
Yeah.
I played narrator 4.
Come on.
There's no narrator 4 in Oliver, if anybody was wondering.
They retired the role after
Right,
you.
right, exactly. I grew up in a musical family, so I always was singing Broadway. But yeah, I guess 5 years old.
So how would your younger versions of yourselves feel if they were watching the 3 of you do My Boyfriend's Back?
That makes me
Honestly, like
I'm gonna make Samantha cry. I'm gonna make Samantha cry.
I
with
don't
this.
think I've even talked to
Teary-eyed.
you guys about it. I can't remember, but I remember seeing like the tour of Jersey Boys with my family, and I literally
you were
remember
saying.
watching My Boyfriend's Back, the 3 girls, and be like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I can do that. So I literally feel like little Sam would like be in awe.
Yes.
Like literal awe. I've like always wanted to be in this piece. I'm so like thankful to Todd, our wonderful director choreographer, for bringing me on. And
Yes.
yeah.
Did you watch it when you were younger and think about this? You could be you someday.
Yeah, I mean, not this. I was looking at Beauty and the Beast, but when I did see
Good
this,
music
when
in that for sure.
Exactly. But I did see this show. I believe it was with my mom on Broadway all those years ago, and yeah, I remember seeing The Women as well, and just thinking, what an incredible show to be a part of, and the
Yes.
music's so good. Like it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
train that
Oh,
doesn't stop,
God,
you know,
yeah.
and it's it's.
I
I'm
wore
getting
this
emotional
tape.
as well.
I wore this tape out.
Yeah,
Jersey
right.
Boys
Oh
tape.
yeah, you said.
Oh yeah,
so.
my daughter was singing these songs when she was a little kid,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But so whenever you hear My Boyfriend's Back on the radio now, right? It's gonna bring you back.
Yeah. No, that's so sweet and special. I think like I said before, I never saw the show, but just like little me, I had such stage fright and was so nervous, and I think, yeah, she would just be so proud that we're doing this and having fun, and this cast was so much fun, the crew's so much fun,
Yeah.
and
really
it's an
fun
awesome
show.
story. So
That's great. Would you do us the pleasure, give us the pleasure, the fans out there, of a few little
We could do
a sample of My Boyfriend's Back?
All
Because
right, we'll
the
do
three of you have such beautiful voices.
Okay.
You know.
we'll do it.
Putting the pressure right on you.
Ready?
Take it away, Annie.
Okay. Wait. My boyfriend's back and you're gonna be in trouble. Hey la, my boyfriend's back.
Woo! All right. Way to go.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
We're so lucky to have the three of them. These young actors, they're so wonderful up there. You got to come out and see Jersey Boys. We're playing straight through to Sunday, April 6th, and we can't wait to see you at the Argyle Theater.